Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 1677 Milliken Creek Street here in Lafayette, located at the right side of the home. That's as you face the house from the street. On the backyard side of the fence here, got a 3-inch ABS cleanout. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water's running, we're zeroed out, off we go. Camera's upside down right now, that's why the water is overhead, or at least appears to be on screen. And based on the secondary cleanout, looks like this thing just about does a dead straight shot to the street. I think it's going to make a little bit of a jog here. But if you go and look out right near where the driveway is at, kind of near the front right corner of the driveway, sidewalk area, you'll see a big steel cover plate that says sewer on it. We're just about to pass under it right now. That's where your secondary access point is. That's what we're going underneath here in about 2 seconds, if we haven't already. There it is right there, which we'll get a better look at here in just a second when the line fully drains. There is a little bit of standing water there, but it's a very, very common location during new construction for debris to get down into the line. Sometimes gravel and things like that will fall into there, so we'll see if there's anything sitting at the base of that. There is some level of standing water there, but we'll see what the causation is behind it and see how significant it is once the line drains. That's the main connection there at 67 feet. We're going to let the line drain out here for a few minutes, and we'll pull back. The water is off here at this point. And this part of the line here drains out very nicely. We're going to kind of pull back to where that secondary clean out is there. We'll let the thing fully drain. As I'm going along here though, you can see these little bits and pieces of stuff that are in the flow line. And it is entirely possible that's what we have sitting at the base of that clean out. It is the #1 cause for issues on brand new construction. In fact, this neighborhood alone, I've probably done about 30 houses in this neighborhood, and I think about 15 to 17 of them have required hydrojetting. And that's a very common thing regardless of the neighborhood. When it comes to new construction in general, especially with the fact they're putting these secondary access points in on most homes these days. There's another pebble right there. And that substance you see coming off that pipe joint, I get asked about this a lot. When new construction lines go together, they use a substance called duck butter. It's like Vaseline. They use that to lube up the pipe end, so when they shove them into the coupler, they slam home and the pipe ends butt right up against each other. Just helps to ensure that happens. So it's very, very common on new construction to see some of that stuff sticking out of the joint. There's some more pebbles there. And you've definitely got rocks in the line here. And then this secondary access is where they originate from. You can see how they're all sitting at the base of that. So it's hard to say. These may very well clear out on their own. Even with the camera going through there though, they still haven't busted loose. So this is one of those lines I'm going to recommend cleaning on to remove that stuff. But when you take a look at how much water is left over here compared to the debris sitting in the flow line right here, these rocks, that basically accounts for all the standing water. And sometimes it's not just gravel. Sometimes you get solidified concrete at the base of those things. So anyway, my camera's not a drain cleaning implement. I wish I had a jet or something out here and I just blast that stuff out of there. But to try and push all the rocks out of the pipe of my camera with running water is not the easiest thing in the world to do. Anyway, recommend cleaning on the line and a rescope to show that it was indeed thoroughly cleaned out there. Quarter minus gravel is not smooth, round river rock that'll just tumble its way out all the time. It is by nature rough and jagged, so it makes for good compaction rock. And if there's any concrete in the mix there, it's something that will likely require a jetter to actually fully remove it. Anyway, I'm hopeful that once the line's all drained out, that the standing water was short-lived enough and all of it was isolated to right around where the larger piles of rocks were. All said and done, the line looks like it's going to be, it'll fully, completely drain out once that stuff is gone. Anyway, as the line makes its way up the side here, just to the, from this vantage point anyway, just to the right of my car is where the driveway edge is. The line jaunts up there, jogs just slightly toward the driveway edge, straightens out, and then you'll see the big steel cover plate there at the end of the driveway. That sits right over the top of the sewer line. So between the two cleanouts, you can eyeball pretty much the exact route the line takes in case you're curious where the line's at. Anyway, aside from the rocks in the line there, the line itself all appears to be in good condition and intact. What I would recommend doing, sometimes at the base of those cleanouts, sometimes you get a sweep at the bottom, sometimes they don't, but you can get piles of stuff that will hang out at the bottom of those cleanouts. So I would highly recommend that when they come out here to clean it, they do open the secondary cleanout up to make sure there's not a bunch of stuff sitting at the base of that will slowly work its way into the line, especially big chunks of stuff.